Hello, good morning, afternoon, whatever it is. It's the 12th of March here in Ranana. I'm Stephen Rockman, and next to me is
Aaron Frankel.
Aaron Franco. We're doing this little show. We were woken up last night by sirens and shelling from Lebanon and from Iran and from all sorts of places, from Britain and America. It's terrible what's going on here. I'm sorry, I'm joking. Anyway, it's been very bad. It's been very bad here, don't you think? And let's get right stuck into what we want to talk about today, which is the situation as we stand. We've been fired on all sides. I don't. The end of this thing can only be, but not yet. It can only be the destruction of the regime in Iran. This is what I think, because that is killing the world. There's no doubt about it, and the world should wake up to that fact. Israel and America are doing a big job. What do you think about that?
I think that there are a number of objectives in the war, good outcomes, not
True.
necessarily complete regime change.
No,
I
you don't
think
that?
obviously that's the best outcome that could happen. But there are steps before that. For example, if Israel and the U.S. can get their hands on the uranium, isn't that a tremendous success? Okay, now if there's still a Shia government or
Regime.
that's the word, thank you, that they're in control, but is somebody more moderate as opposed to the crazy people that are in control now. That's also a great outcome. Obviously the best one if there's no Basij and there's no IRGC and all those crazies are gone. But again, I repeat, if they get a hold of the uranium and they can stop the ballistic missiles from flying all over the place, that's also a great thing. It doesn't have to be a complete regime change. What do you think?
Well, yeah, but the other important aspect is that they have to stop Iran financing other groups around the world, like
Okay.
Hamas and
Right.
Hezbollah and
Right.
whatever.
Right.
They've got to get rid of that. There must be no more threat from Iran to the world. The world, I'm emphasizing the world,
You're
not
right.
just Israel.
You're right.
Because the world should know that they are being threatened all the time by whatever Iran is proxying. And they're doing a lot of this around the world. All the terror around the world is financed by Iran.
Right.
And they've got to recognize it. It's got to be gone and done away with. It's like a cancer.
So, Steve, do you think that there's a possibility of no more nuclear, no more missiles, no more proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis, and democracy in Iran? You think that's a reasonable outcome of this?
I do. And I really think that if Iran was done away with, if there was no more Shiite or regime there that there is now, a terror regime, if that went, I'm sure there would be a big change in the world. I think Hamas would come down. I think
Okay.
Hezbollah would be gone.
Of course, but that's Alice in Wonderland. I don't think that's going to happen.
It will happen, but not yet. And I don't know.
Okay.
I'm trying to work out how it could be done. It can't be done right now, but we are weakening Iran. The shelling of Iranian installations is being done now, and that's helping a lot. It'll go a long way to unseating the government there. They won't be able to manage, they won't be able to govern anything, they won't have any infrastructure. Their electricity hopefully will be here, their oil will be here. While it's a bad news for the world in that the price of oil will go up, which will be a great weapon for all Trump's enemies. But that's what price you've got to pay. Here as well, people will be blaming Israel for the price of oil going up. That's
What are the chances do you think that Trump is going to continue this war, even if it hurts his chances in the midterm elections in the U.S.?
The problem is what an unknown is how many people in America support him, what he's doing. I think that his support base is larger than people think.
I hope you're right.
This is what I think.
I hope you're right.
You think differently?
I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see after the elections. But he does know, and he is very wary of the fact that the price of oil jumped over $100 a barrel. And then he made some remarks that brought it down to $80 again.
Yeah.
And now it's jumped back up because you have the problems of straight over moves. I agree with you 100%. I think that Israel and United States, or United States leading, and Israel should actually take this war to the ultimate outcome and ultimate end. But I don't think there's enough political capital in the United States and in Israel for that to happen. That's my concern. I wish it was, but I'm concerned.
What upsets me a lot and really disappoints me is that the world, Europe and the world, are not thanking America and Israel for what we're doing. They're not thanking us. I mean, it's an incredible thing that we're doing, and only now is it being done. It's like people complaining against Britain for what they did against Hitler in the war. You know, how can you fight Hitler? It's not fair. All those innocent people dying. Look at Dresden. How many thousands, tens of thousands of people were killed by British bombing in Dresden? Come on, what's the world? Wake up!
Yes, 100% right. I'm reading a book called The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, and if the West, the Western countries, the democracies would have confronted the Nazis in 1933, 1934, 1935, when they took over the Rhineland, the Nazis knew that they had no chance of succeeding, but the democracies were weak, they were decadent, they had no willpower to confront anything because it's not convenient for democracies to have wars. But if you don't want to suffer, sometimes you have to fight what's right.
That's very true. I think I understood what you just said, but I mean, it's very true. Also, the other thing is that Starmer, the Prime Minister in England, I think he's indicative now. He represents
Very good.
the old woke, which was slowly going out the window, but I think it's coming back again with him and what he represents. And unfortunately, he's got to be, he's got to be got rid of because that is a bad reopening of that wound which was in society, which was gradually
What
getting
wound is that?
the wound of woke and gender and all that crap. And I don't care what people think of what I'm saying, but I really do think it's a lot of crap. And I think that it should be got rid of, and we should get back to what we believed in before. That's a simple thing.
Okay, so I'll just moderate that a little bit and say you can maybe do both. You can combine both, which is having a liberal outlook towards your own society and supporting people, and also have the outlook where you have to confront challenges, international challenges, wherever they arise. I think that the United States did a great job. They're doing a great job now. I think that Israel, as a result of the actions now of the last 10 days, has become a superpower, almost a superpower, almost an international power that going to have to be reckoned with. I think a lot of the Shia and the Sunni Muslims in the Middle East and even beyond, maybe perhaps in Asia, like Malaysia and Indonesia, are shivering because they realize that Israel is so advanced technologically. Look at the fact that Modi has now is courting Bibi Netanyahu, trying to make deals, technological deals, because they realize that the military technology and technology in general in Israel is extremely advanced.
Modi is the Prime Minister of India. He didn't mention that because he thinks that everyone would know that. But it's a small fact, but I think it's important that our viewers are updated on the information we're giving out.
Okay, very good.
All right, you don't mind it. Anyway, the other thing is that I'm very impressed right now with the US leadership. I really am. We started with Trump, who's a complete and utter tosser. He's a lunatic. He looks crazy. He speaks crazy. But the guy's doing stuff. He's doing it. He's shooting up in the sky, and whatever's falling is great. He's stirring up the world like no one has done for a long time. And this is what we need. I think the world needs a good shake-up, and he's doing it. And he's got around him some really good people. He's got Hegseth, whatever his name is, the Secretary of War. He's great. We need people who are going to come out and they're going to speak plainly. They're going to say what the world is all about. Rubio, I love him. I think he's a really nice, cozy-looking man, and he speaks well.
Little Marco?
Little Marco, I love him. I think he's really good. He's
You
great.
think he's smart?
I think he's very smart. I really do.
And you think the way he approaches the international relations, he's doing it the right way. He's doing it in a shrewd way.
He's very shrewd. I haven't seen a shrewder person than him for a long time. He really is one of the shrewdest person.
And the
Secretary is a good word.
And the Secretary of War now,
Hegseth. Yeah, I like him as well. He comes out. He's a strong Christian. He's coming out. He's talking about the Psalms, Tehillim. He's saying, "Come on, where have you? When was the last time you heard a Secretary of State, a Secretary of War, talking about Tehillim?"
Well, Menachem Begin used to do that.
And then you got my favorite, which you don't like so much, Caroline Letter. I think she's a bomb. She's incredible. The way she speaks. She's 28 years old. She's fantastic. She's outspoken. She comes down on the reporters about time that she came down on the reporters. They need to be given a lesson sometimes. Some of them are horrible. I know you support CNN and everything, but these guys, they should be pulled down the peg, and she does it. Come on.
No, I have. I understand
Don't-
where you're
don't
coming
stop,
from.
don't stop.
I understand what you're coming from.
Don't stop.
But I do think also there's a. I like Rubio's approach because he's respectful of people. Although he had to backtrack, as you recall, when he said that Israel dragged
You
America
always
into
go
this
on about
war,
that. All right, go on.
and then they had to retract that. Trump retract that and said, no, 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 we're not dragged into this. But there's an anti-Semitic view in the world that Israel has its hands in everything. They're dragging the United States. There's even a feeling among the MAGA people in the United States saying that it's all Israel's fault. The price of the oil, this war that's going on, unfortunately the death of the U.S. servicemen and women. But I don't. Obviously, it's not true. It's an anti-Semitic trope, and I hope the world gets over it and realize that Israel is one of the most moral nations in the world. They are conducting a war, according to all the experts, on a moral basis, which is unheard of, unseen, has never happened before. Even when they have these horrible terrorists in the Gaza Strip and in other places like the Hezbollah. In the meantime, Israel is suffering. Regular people are suffering and they're complaining about the fact that they're not sleeping at night. People are not sleeping night after night after night. In the north, there's tremendous missiles and bombings happening right now on the northern border with Lebanon. I hope that's going to finish. But Israel and the West does not have a good track record in trying to destroy terrorist organizations. It's always coming back.
Well, right now, I want to just finish off by talking about the state in Israel right at the moment with the internal politics and the internal infighting. And what we have is a situation which actually has now really become very clear and clarified. And that is that you have, on the one hand, you've got the government, the elected, democratically elected government of the country, Likud, which is ruling the country for the last nearly 4 years, which is this term. You have it's led by a prime minister who's democratically elected by the party to be leader.
Not by the party, but the people.
No, by the party.
Oh, to be its leader. Okay.
Yeah. Then you have so you've got that's on one side. There's no doubt about it. It's a democratic country. That's the government. And on the other side, you have the press, the media,
The judiciary.
the judiciary, and even the police in some cases, and even the army at one time, because they had all these generals that were anti what was going. All these generals, the ex-generals, and they were all against the government. And whatever the government tried to do, they were stopped every step of the way. Now, this is a terrible situation. It's getting worse and worse. I mean, don't you agree with that?
No, I think you're overdoing it. I don't think that the military was conspiring against Netanyahu. I do agree that there's a big difference of opinion between the judicial branch and the executive branch here in Israel. The fact that there is no constitution in Israel is a very, very enormous problem because there's no one law that people will say, okay, we have to follow like you have in the U.S. I know England has no constitution or almost no constitution as well. However, it has a parliamentary tradition that goes back hundreds of years, centuries. They know people have to know how to behave. People know how to run a democracy.
What do you think the solution is? I mean, there's
What-
got to be a
of what
solution,
problem?
right?
Of what
No,
problem?
you don't think there's a problem right this moment? There's no problem, or there is a problem?
State the problem. What's
The
the
problem
problem?
is the problem is the government cannot govern. They cannot govern. They're stopped every
They're
step
not.
of the way.
Well, we discussed this before. The political situation in Israel is fractured. You have every small sector of society here being represented by 4 or 5 seats in the Knesset, Israeli parliament.
But this has always been the case. It's always been the case. This country's
Yes, but
always
it's
been
getting more and
fractured.
more fractured. Look at the left. Look how fractured it is.
I know, but how can we stop this from carrying on? How can we have
What's
a clear
this?
government?
Oh, I. How do you have it? I
You
think
don't think the judicial needs to be reformed?
there probably should be some reforms. Do you think that Bibi should take responsibility for October 7th?
He should take responsibility, but he's not guilty.
No, someone else will decide. But
No, he's not guilty.
He's never taken. He can never say those words. I'm responsible.
No, he's responsible.
And
he was on his watch, but he wasn't guilty of anything.
Good. So, and to say that the military conspired against him, that's what October 7th.
I didn't know. I didn't say that.
That's a false statement.
I didn't say that.
I don't like that. I didn't say you say it, but people on the right are saying it.
Well,
some people on the Likud are saying it as well.
No.
Anyway, okay. But what has to happen, in my opinion, Steve, is that I think people on both sides of the political aisle
spectrum
have to more unity, much more unity, and give up on their egos. A lot of people on the right and on the left have to give up on their egos and concern themselves what's going to happen in the future for us children and our grandchildren. My concern is now about my grandchildren, my children and my grandchildren, that we have the same target, we have the same objective. We want the Iranian government as it is now to be finished and over. No more proxies like Hezbollah and what we said before, the other proxies, and that would be the best outcome. I don't think that there's enough political capital on both sides of the ocean, meaning the U.S. and Israel, that is strong enough and rich enough to destroy completely the Iranians.
I think the only solution, the safest solution for our grandchildren and our people, our families, is for all our grandchildren to become very Orthodox Haredi Jews, and then they'll be happy. They won't have to go to the army. They'll be safe. Don't you agree with that?
That's a good point.
Anyway, that's it for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much for listening to us, and see you next time.
Take care. Bye.